Sin City, they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sold my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in Sin City. Thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk, and the only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drunk. I've got one foot on the platform, the others on the train. I'm going back to Sin City to wear that ball and chain.
And good evening, good morning I should say, as it is Sunday morning here on the East Coast in the United States, 9:30 a.m. You're listening to The Hardy Show, Sports Talk, Speaker Radio, iHeartRadio.com, and YouTube.com. Email for the show is hardy4824@gmail.com. The Twitter is @hardy7830. Again, email is hardy4824@gmail.com. The Twitter is @hardy7830. Any questions, comments, anything that you want to chime in on this show, feel free to do it at any time. I'll get to some of y'all's questions and stuff at some point in this show. We usually do this show during the week, Monday through Friday. But didn't, this past week had off, there are a lot of different things going on, and obviously I've noticed that a lot of broadcasters and media personnel tend to take some time off after the Super Bowl, and that does tend to be your slowest media time. Everybody knows that right after the Super Bowl, most of the time, you don't get big stories. You gotta kind of have to create stories. And I don't mean create, like, make up, reports and all that, crap. But you kind of make something a big deal when probably during the NFL season it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And that's what I tell everybody about media is pay attention to this time of the year when there's not much going on. Pay attention to what stories they make big and they make the centerpieces of their columns or shows. Because I guarantee you, if it was NFL season, those stories would not be centerpieces and they wouldn't be talked about as much as they are. And right now, you've got a rift in sports and politics. That line. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. Where is that line? Should there be a line? But obviously, the first thing, the tragedy Wednesday in Florida, where once again we're dealing with a mass shooting. This one at a high school. A gunman opened fire, killing 17 innocent people. We're going to have a quick moment of silence for those victims and their families. And it's sad that we once again have to deal with this. The United States has the highest rate of mass shootings than any other country in the world. And I'm not going to get up here and I'm not going to talk gun laws to you. Or anything like that. But I am going to let you know that I am personally a firm believer in getting guns off the street or out of homes is not going to change mass shootings and mass casualties. If people want to do evil, they're going to find a way to do it. It takes a person to pull a trigger. Okay? A gun does not pull a trigger by itself. It takes a person to do that. On 9/11, hijackers using airplanes killed thousands and thousands of innocent Americans and people in New York, Washington, D.C., and in a field in Pennsylvania. We as a society have to address and look at how we're handling things. And unfortunately, what happened in Florida could have been prevented. We know that now that there were plenty of signs. Social media posts by this person. Statements made by this person. The FBI even had knowledge that this person could be a threat. People at the school were even told, hey, if this person shows up at this school with a backpack, don't let him in these grounds. And somehow he got in. And it's sad that we once again have to be talking about this. You had the church shooting outside of San Antonio, Texas. Mandalay Bay in October. Which is the worst mass shooting in United States history. That's 3 major events within a couple of months. It seems like every other month we're dealing with something like this. Now, do I think that there's certain gun things that should change? Yes, absolutely. Nobody needs a bump stock. Nobody. The only people that need that are police and military personnel. And there are certain modifications that can be made to weapons that should not be allowed. But saying that we need to change it all around, it's not going to prevent anything. And until we start looking at the center cause, which is people themselves, this is an issue that's going to continue in the U.S. And I talked, to a sports media friend of mine about this, who is from, that area. And he said the same thing that I did. Why is this such an issue in the United States? It's not in other, Canada does not have this type of issue. You don't hear about this stuff in parts of Europe. U.S. is the worst in the world when it comes to mass shootings. And I don't believe it's because of our gun laws. It's because of what is society as a whole. Now, I don't know if, this person had a better, if somebody would have got to him before this, could it have been prevented? Or was his mental frame just so gone that nothing would be prevented of it? But I just want to leave my statement on, I'm a firm believer in we need to learn how to handle people better. Because regardless of what's available, if somebody wants to do harm, they're going to find a way to do it. But I can't imagine what those families have to deal with. You're sitting there expecting just another normal day, and then you get a call of that nature. Can't imagine that. And I had one person say to me that they believe that it's unpreventable. That no matter what we do, there's always going to be those people that just, their frame of mind is gone. Regardless of the laws that are put in place or mental health reach out, that there's just going to be some people that you just can't reach them. But my concern is the rate that it's happening. The rate is ridiculous. Like I said, we've had three mass shooting events within the past couple of months. That's troubling. The rate that they are occurring is troubling. But I just wanted to take a moment, to acknowledge that. And it's sad because I've had to do this numerous times. But what I don't understand is, one, why is it happening at the rate that it's happening? And then two, why are we the ones that have such a big of a problem with it? You don't hear about this in other large populated countries. And that's where I get into the politics and sports line. Where does that line cross? ESPN is having an issue with that right now. They're telling their on-air talents, don't talk politics. Don't cross that line. You have athletes crossing that line. You had the whole national anthem protest this past season in the NFL.